Today, we're going to talk about something that might just change how you think about, well, thinking itself. We're going to explore a connection between cutting-edge science and ancient wisdom that challenges a fundamental belief about where our mind truly lives.
So let me start by asking you a question. Where is your mind? For pretty much all of modern history, the answer's been simple, right? It's in your brain. But what if that's only part of the story? What if there's a second center of intelligence, right here, in your chest?
You know, we all learned it in school. The heart is this amazing biological machine, a pump. Its whole job is just to move blood around. It's simple, it's mechanical. But is that really all it is?
Well, that simple mechanical view is starting to get a major update, thanks to some really fascinating discoveries. Science is now telling us that the heart might be way more complex, a key player in how we think, how we feel, and how we see the world. Let's take a look at what the research is showing us.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. Researchers have actually found something they call the heart-brain. And yeah, you heard that right. This discovery could completely rewrite how we understand this organ. And the evidence? It all starts with one single, jaw-dropping number.
40,000. Get this, that's how many specialized neurons, actual nerve cells, are operating inside the human heart. And these aren't just some random cells, they form their own complex, independent network.
And what does this little heart-brain do? Well, it's pretty mind-blowing. It can learn, it can remember, and it can even make decisions all on its own, without the brain in your head. In fact, it's constantly sending powerful signals up to your main brain, influencing your emotions and your decisions. You know that gut feeling we always talk about? It might actually be a heart feeling.
But here's where the story takes an absolutely fascinating turn. All of this sounds super modern, right? Cutting-edge science. But what if I told you this new idea isn't new at all? In fact, it has a profound parallel in a text that's over 1,400 years old. Time and time again, the Quran talks about the heart not as a pump, but as a center for thinking and knowing. Take this verse, for instance. It directly connects the heart to the act of understanding.
And this isn't just a one-off mention. Throughout the text, the things we normally think of as brain functions, like deep thought, belief, having an intention, are all credited to the heart. It's described as our inner compass, the very place our consciousness sits.
This idea is captured so powerfully in another verse. It's suggesting that real sight, or real blindness, isn't about what your eyes can see. It's about what your heart can perceive and understand.
So let's just pause for a second and put these two side by side. It's kind of stunning, isn't it? On one hand, modern science is now confirming that the heart influences our emotions and guides the mind. On the other hand, an ancient text has been describing it as the center of understanding for over 1,000 years. And this incredible connection between our heart and our mind, it starts way earlier than you might think. We're talking about the very beginning of life, long before we're even born.
Just wrap your head around this for a second. In a developing fetus, the heart starts beating around day 21. But the brain? That doesn't even really start to form until week 6. That means for weeks, the heart is running the show all by itself, this independent center of life guided by its own intelligence.
And that tiny little heart, it's listening. It is totally tuned in to the mother's emotional world. Her stress can literally speed up the baby's heart rate. Anger can make its rhythm irregular. And on the flip side, when she's feeling peaceful and calm, she's actually helping build a strong, healthy nervous system in her child from the very start.
Now, this influence doesn't just stop with one child. The story gets even bigger. Modern science is showing us that these effects, these little imprints on our very first organ, can actually echo down through generations. And it's all thanks to a field called epigenetics.
So what is epigenetics? Well, the simple way to think about it is this. Your DNA is like a huge library of cookbooks. Epigenetics are the little sticky notes and highlights that tell your body which recipes to use and which ones to ignore. They don't change the books themselves, but they change which ones get read. So here is the crucial link. A parent's deep emotional and spiritual state, things like long-term stress, or on the other hand, feelings of deep gratitude and faith, those things can literally flip these genetic switches on or off. And here's the truly amazing part. Those settings can then be inherited by their children and maybe even their grandchildren.
So what does this all mean? It means our inner world, our deepest feelings, our beliefs, the actual state of our hearts, they're not just fleeting moments.
They have the power to leave a tangible, physical, biological legacy that can shape the health of the generations that come after us.
So let's bring it all back together. You have science finding a cognitive center with 40,000 neurons in the heart, and you have the Quran talking about hearts that do not understand. You have science showing the heart guides our brain and emotions, and the Quran calling it the seat of faith. Science says the heart processes information, and the ancient text says true blindness is of the heart. The language is different, sure, but the core idea is shockingly similar.
So, no matter which lens you look through, science or ancient wisdom, the conclusion is incredibly powerful. The heart is not just a pump. It's an emotional, intuitive, and spiritual center that plays a massive role in who we are. And that just leaves us with one final thought. The evidence, both ancient and modern, strongly suggests that our heart is constantly communicating with us. So the only question that's really left is this: if your heart has a voice, are you taking the time to listen?